Hello guys, it's Max here from Daily Market Movements, and in front of me we have the gold over the US dollar charts. Now, as you can see in today's trading session, rather choppy. We were trading higher up towards 1735, then we went down lower, down to roughly 1725, and now we currently find ourselves trading at that midway point at 1730. Later on this evening, we have the Fed's rate decision, as well as the conference with Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman. So I don't really anticipate much movement in the markets until then. You're going to see a lot of this back and forth, roughly around this 1730 area. Now, tonight's Fed meeting is very, very important. Jerome Powell and the Fed are expected to come out and say that they're going to continue to support the markets. And then you're going to have journalists during the conference just absolutely hammer Jerome Powell with the questions, saying, do you realize that there's an economic boom, but that's likely going to occur this year? Do you anticipate a massive resurgence in the economic data? And Jerome Powell is going to, he's a smart guy. He's been in a very difficult situation like this many times before, and he just has to say the right things. If Jerome Powell slips up and says that he does recognize an economic boom is on the cusp of happening, basically, then that's when the markets could really, really struggle. So that could, send gold a lot lower. That could also send the stock markets plummeting back to probably their lows that we saw roughly 2 weeks ago. The Nasdaq down at 12,200, the S&P 500 down at 3,700, I believe it was. Dow could go as low as 31,000 to 30,000. Okay, so we really want to hope that Jerome Powell says the right things in the meeting today. But as I mentioned, he's very well trained. He knows what he can and what he can't say. He would have, practiced this the whole day today, probably the whole day yesterday. But if he recognizes the fact that, it's very likely that there will be an economic boom this year, that is very, very bearish for the market, and especially gold, because that could, eventually lead to the easing of, all this stimulus and financial aid that is currently being injected into the markets. But personally, what I anticipate is for a very boring conference. Journalists are going to be hammering Fed Chairman Powell with all these questions, and I just expect him to answer pretty much with the same answer for every single question, basically saying that from what he's seen, he still believes that unemployment and inflation is still an issue. Therefore, the Fed will continue to support the markets. So that's what I'm anticipating, and I think that the markets will react rather well. Don't expect a massive surge towards the upside, but if we can, end the day flat or where we currently are, that will be seen as a bullish outcome. And then from tomorrow onwards, that's when we can then continue that movement towards the upside. So 1750 is still my short-term target here in the gold markets. We're only 20 points below it. I do anticipate gold to go and hit it before the end of this week, and then eventually we will go looking for 1800, which is now above the 50-day EMA. So we would have to break above the 50-day EMA to achieve that. We've bounced off the bottom of this holding pattern, as I've mentioned several times in the previous videos. I have no interest in selling gold at this moment in time. However, if Jerome Powell did come out this evening and mention that he does recognize that there's a potential for an economic boom later on this year or going into 2022, and the markets plummet, then yes, I would definitely be selling gold down towards that 1680 area. But for the time being, I remain bullish. No interest in selling. I'm a